So welcome to part two of this recording, and I'm just going to show you some more things that you can style using a container like this. Now containers are very useful. You can make containers everywhere and your page will eventually be full of containers. So once you start having like lots of different sections, so you might have a whole, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 things inside one container, and then maybe lower down you might have another 2 or 3 things inside another container and another container. So containers are very good for organizing your content and kind of separating them from each other. Okay, so I'm going to work with the container that I have right now. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this container is I'm going to add some styling to it. Okay, so I'm going to change the background color. And we're going to make it white. Okay, then I'm going to put some margin, margin top, and let's put 50 pixel there. And I'll just show you what that does so far. Okay, save, and we'll reload. Okay, and basically what I get is this container essentially is a different color than the background on the body. Right? If you recall, the body got this brown background. Now it's a white container on this brown background. And I think I'm going to get rid of this red border. Let's just comment that out. Okay, so, oops. There we go. Save and reload. Okay, and perhaps I want a little bit of padding there. Okay, so go padding. And we'll say top and bottom, let's do 20 pixel, and left and right we'll put 0. Okay, if you put 0 you don't actually have to put pixel. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to border top left, top right radius. We'll put, let's see how that looks. Okay, so basically what I did is added some top margin, bottom margin, and then I rounded the corner there. And it kind of looks like a nice page that's sitting on top of like some sort of background, kind of like having a piece of paper on your desk or something like that. So you can get some pretty nice effects using containers and sticking them on top of things. And like I said before, you can use containers inside this container. So maybe I have if it's going to be a pet store, I could have my dog section, which is going to be inside the dog container and has a whole bunch of information, sidebars, etc. Then maybe I have a cat section that's going to be in the cat container that has, you know, a bunch of different boxes and divs as well. Okay, so using the box model, right? Containers to contain things, divs. Divs are essentially containers as well. Okay, so everything is a box, everything's a container. Use them to organize your layout. So just a summary of what I did. So sidebar fixed width, main content fixed width, inside a container, which is a fixed width. And as you can see, if I change the size of my window, the width of that container doesn't actually change. The only thing that changes is those margins left, right are left as auto. Okay, so it figures that out. Okay. But sometimes you want the margins to be the same and you want the content to kind of be elastic. Okay, so in which case, instead of using a number, you can use a percentage. Like this could be 50% and this could be like 30%, and the rest of that 20% would be left to the margins there. And so you can use percentages. If you want to know more on layout, I suggest you go to the W3 schools. So easiest thing to do is just Google W3 schools layout, and here's CSS website layout. Very good resource. And as you can see here, a lot of websites are laid out just this way. They have a header, which often has your logo, the name of the page or the website, some sort of navigation menu where you have your links to different pages, content. In this case, they have 3 columns, right? You can work with 2 like we just did, 3 columns, that sort of thing. And a footer, copyright, social media, that sort of thing. And the W3 schools here, very nice, shows you how to do everything. You can try out the code, right? So they explain something, then you can try it out, write some code, see how it's done, navigation bar, etc. Talk about the various columns. And as you can see here, they work with percentages. So this will be a flexible sized layout using 33%. There you can see each one being 33%. Okay. Or sometimes, I think here, use this one's slightly bigger, this one being 50% and the other two being 25% or something like that. Okay, and then the footer. Okay, so do check that out. It's a very good resource to kind of play with layout, and you should start thinking about this when you're planning your final project. How do you want to lay out your website, okay, and your web pages? If you look at this website, this W3 Schools, you can definitely see the 3-column style, right? There's 1, 2, and 3. So this main content being a lot bigger than the other. Let's see what happens when you can see as you change the window size that this bar here seems like it's fixed width. The other two are left to be some sort of percentage, I assume. Or it hasn't been declared and just kind of fills up the rest of the space. Okay, if you do recall that if you don't declare it, it just kind of ends up being 100%, just kind of fills up whatever's containing it. So 3-column here. And then when you scroll down, all the way down to the bottom, you can see here this might even be a container, right? So they have another container right at the bottom here where they use 4 columns, right? So they have 4 columns inside probably what is some sort of containing div there, okay? So keep that in mind. Start planning your projects. Think about how you want your finished product to look. How many columns are you dealing with? How are you going to arrange your information? Okay, so think about that. Think about what topic, what kind of website you want to do, and start planning ahead.